Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Julie Mann, and I show men and women. I can't even speak today. I show men and women how they can create healthy, happy, sustainable lives. And I'm really delighted because today I'm joined by Kathryne Carter. Hi, Kathryne.
Hi,
So,
thank you for having me.
it's an absolute pleasure. So, for those of you that don't yet know Kathryne, she is the owner of Grace and Virtue Events. So, before we get into talking about that, Kathryne, I'd really like to know about your childhood. And did you grow up feeling like, life was a bit of a fairy tale and a romance? Because I know you plan weddings, don't you, and do all that sort of stuff. So what was your growing up like?
So I grew up in New York City, and I don't know if I thought of it as a fairy tale. I don't think so. Um, it was really good. It was very family oriented. I grew up with my mom, my sisters, and my grandparents. Very family oriented, going to church, all those things. Um, I think I've always kind of been a planner. My mom talked about how as a kid I was always like very neat, very organized, very. So I think I always kind of had like the foundation of like things. And then as you grow up, as you live life, you kind of like, oh, the light bulb goes off. And you realize that things just come so naturally. And that's really how it was for me. But I think I had a great childhood. I loved living in New York City, but when I was done with high school, I was ready to explore and travel and do all the things. And I ended up in Maryland, or I went to college in Virginia, and then I ended up in Maryland and been here ever since.
Wow. Did you have any idea what you wanted to do when you were a child for a career?
I wanted to go into social work, and I actually ended up in special education for 13 years and worked with a bunch of different organizations with individuals with disabilities.
Wow. Tell us a little bit about that, exactly what it is that you do.
Yeah, so I was a transition specialist and I basically did life and family planning with students, with like helping them get connected with resources and agencies in the community and potentially jobs, and just helping families kind of make those connections and start to build the foundations of what's my child going to do, what are they going to be a part of, what activities are they going to participate in, and really just helping them make those connections and transition into adulthood. So I did a little bit of planning in my 9 to 5.
So is that the 9 to 5 that you're doing now?
Yes.
Okay. And what is it
Yes.
that you really love about that?
Um, I think there's that planning piece that I really love. Like I love planning, like I love like checking off a list and like all those things, but I also really love working with people and solving problems and helping people like reach a goal and check a box and be like, I did this for me. And I feel like I carry that over into wedding planning. Like, what is it that you want your wedding to feel like, and figuring those things out and logistics and all those things. And at the end of the night, we can check the box and say we did it. And then with my job with my students and their families, um, helping them realize that no matter what the disability, that there's something that they can do, even if it's not paid employment, or they may not necessarily move out and go on their own, but there's something that they can do independently that will make them feel good about themselves and that they've achieved something. So I love that part of it, of both my jobs.
Brilliant. So, was it an easy decision then, Kathryne, to set up your own business? I mean, how did it actually even come about?
I don't think it was easy at first. My first wedding was my mom's in 2009. I helped her and my stepdad plan and execute their wedding, and it kind of was just like second nature. I think one of those times where I realized, like, oh, I can plan a wedding, like, great. Um, and I loved it. It was so much fun, and it took me a while. So like I started my business in 2018. So a few years, I did a couple of other like events and things, along the way, parties and showers and stuff, to kind of, I guess, build up that confidence that like, yeah, I could start a business. Um, it just didn't happen overnight, but I'm glad it happened when it did.
Brilliant. And did you have any concerns or fear about starting a business? I mean, it's quite a big step, isn't it, if you're in a 9 to 5?
Yeah. Can I do it? Is it okay? Like, will it be good? Will it be successful? Will people think it's cheesy? Or, all these thoughts, all these things that, kind of go through your head. And it was just really like, I really enjoy it. I really want to contribute to other people's lives in this way. Um, so just really kind of, and I think doing other smaller parties and events and things like that kind of slowly built up my confidence to just jump all in.
So it's clear that you obviously love planning and you like a list and you like ticking things off. But what would you say is your favorite aspect of what you do? What's your favorite event?
My favorite event. I did a baby shower this year. That was really precious. That was really sweet. I liked doing that. I like doing them all, I think, but I think with each event and each wedding, there's always something that I always look forward to. Like with weddings, I always look forward to like the vows and the sweet moments that the couple get to have. And I always try to make sure that they have those. With parties, just making sure that like you check in with the client and like the moment that you check in, you're like, are you okay? And they're like, we're having a blast. Like all those moments just help me check that box for them and help them have a good time. So I think there's always something about each one that I love.
Yeah, and I imagine it's got to be really, really cool. I mean, obviously you've got to be organized, but you have to remain really calm under sometimes extreme pressure, don't you? So do you ever freak out?
Um, I think before each wedding, I freak out a little bit, but it's just my own, like, I want it to go well. I don't want anything to go wrong. And I always have like a backup plan, but it's always like my own excitement and nervousness a little bit before each event. Um, but I do on wedding day, I try to stay extremely calm because then it helps me think, it helps me problem solve. Um, and I've had quite a few clients like, you're so calm, you're so even. And it's like, well, if I'm freaking out, right? Like you're going to totally see that and then you're going to freak out and you're not going to enjoy the day. And my job is to help you enjoy the day. So I'm going to have it all under control. I've prepared for this, right? Like I'm going to make sure that like I keep myself in check. And then at the end of the night, then I can be like, that was so busy or that was so whatever.
Fabulous. So you end up really, really enjoying the whole thing because
Yeah.
because you've got that backup plan. You know that you'll
Hmm.
find a way. You'll find a way.
Yeah.
So obviously you mentioned that you're working a full-time job and you've got your event planning business. So how on earth do you balance those two things?
Oh, I'm still figuring it out. I do my best. Um, my calendar is my best friend. I always am like checking my calendar, I always have my notifications. Um, and then just making sure that, I hold myself accountable for all the things that need to get done. Um, and then also have to build in like that self-care and time off and like all those things, right? So like it's a balance that I try to work on every day. And I'm totally aware that I need to make sure that I have those balances.
I'm so glad you mentioned self-care because it's critical, isn't it? You could really burn yourself out doing what you're doing.
Yes. Yes. And it's so easy to like be like, oh yeah, I took a shower and I ate dinner. And it's like, okay, that's the bare minimum, right? Like you gotta go beyond that sometimes. And I always have to remind myself of of all of that, that like self-care just means like you need to take a beat, you need to sit down, do some meditation or some yoga or just something to ground yourself because with wedding planning, like there's a billion things going on right at the minute, and you can feel your nervous system or like your whole body just kind of like going 1,000 miles per hour, and you can't sustain that, right? Like no one can sustain like going days and days and days without rest, without food, without water, without all the things. um and so it's like that constant reminder of like we need to take some chill time, we need to take a beat. And then it's okay, right? Like sometimes we don't give ourselves that grace to have that moment or to sit and not do anything. I think I struggle with that too because I'm like I got to be doing something. I got to check the boxes, but I have to remind myself that it's okay to take that moment.
Yeah, it's really, really important, isn't it? So you've mentioned, do weddings, you mentioned a baby shower. So tell us about some of the other events that you do that people might not be aware of.
Oh yeah, so birthday parties. I actually had a small business reach out to me, which is something I would like to get more into, of working with small businesses and doing like lunches or dinner parties or events for them. Just because I'm a small business, and I kind of want to cater to that market a little bit more, because I think the events world has like the conferences and the big parties and the big things. I think we've got that squared away. And I think we need to tend more and cater more to our small businesses who may want to throw a party but don't know where to start. And so I definitely enjoyed working with that small business to help them do a launch. And unfortunately, it was in during the pandemic, so it was a little bit virtual. Um, and not so much in person, but I'm hoping that we can either do hybrid or once things are safe for everybody, do more in person small events.
Lovely. And also, don't you do stuff for couples
Yes.
at home?
Um, I haven't yet, but I have also done proposals, which I'm excited. I really love proposals. So hoping, whoever wants to propose kind of set up if they want to do decor, if they just managing those logistics so that they can really just focus on asking the question, right? So they're not worrying about, oh, did I lay out the rose petals? Did I light the candles? Did I invite whoever? That like I'm really kind of managing all of those behind the scenes so that they can be calm, they can, they might be nervous, right? And then really focus on asking the questions. So I'm
Yeah,
excited
because
about those.
it's not a cert, is it? That the person they're asking is necessarily going to say yes. So it's a pretty big
You
deal.
hope so.
You hope so. You're waiting to hear at the end of the event that that was the outcome. So, what do you think makes you different from other event planners, Kathryne? Because clearly, there are many, many event planners all over the world. So, why you? Why would someone come to you?
um, I'm really passionate about the details. I really love the details. I pay close attention to that stuff. I'm all about making the event, the wedding, the proposal, whatever it is, focused on the client, right? The couple, the family, whoever it is. And it doesn't have to look like what someone else's birthday or what someone else's wedding looks like. I love being creative. I love coming up with like new ideas to do something different for my clients, and really try to listen to what their needs are, um, and reflect that, right? And then execute it. So the whole point of having a planner, like on the day of, is so that you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to manage your vendors. You don't have to communicate any of the contract stuff. All of those things are things that I will take care of, for the day so that you really can enjoy the moment, enjoy the party, enjoy the proposal. And so I hope that people really feel that like once they hire me and they put their event in my hands, that I am capable and I will make sure that when they walk away at the end of the night, that they didn't have to worry about anything.
Brilliant. And you say that your particular thing is the attention to detail. So, can you be specific about some of the detail you're talking about?
Yeah, so some of the details include what the decor might look like. Is there a favorite color? So if it's a wedding or an event, like birthday party, like what are the things about you or your relationship that you want to incorporate? um, Maybe there's a certain type of music, hiring the right vendors to play that music. There's so many details in the wedding day that starts from beginning to end that can be customized and that can be truly catered to the clients. And so just really just kind of managing all of those details. Is there a certain type of food that needs to be served? If it's a cultural wedding, making sure that we pay attention to those traditions, and cultural things that may need to happen or should happen to help that family celebrate. Just making sure that all the details and preparations are done for those.
Perfect. What is your long-term plan with Grace?
um, to be able to maintain and sustain, being able to provide good service and excellent events for a good while, as long as I possibly can. I have thought in the past about opening a venue. I don't know. It's still in the brain. I don't know yet. We'll see.
In where you're living.
Mhm.
Venue, right? Okay, so yeah, watch this space, maybe.
We'll see. I don't know yet, but I definitely think that, for as long as I possibly can, I want to be able to service our clients and, um, provide excellent events.
Perfect. I'm going to stick all your details below this video, so please check out Kathryne below.
Yeah. And let me know if you have questions. If there's something that you have questions about, I'm happy to answer those.
Perfect. Do you do like a discovery call or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah. Because some people, like, they may be like, you know, I have this idea, and they might get stuck, and they might just need help with, like, the logistics of things like that. And maybe they're not ready. Maybe the event is like a few years away, and they just want to talk out the logistics. I'm happy to do a consultation call to kind of manage that and kind of suggest different things to think about. So yeah.
Brilliant. One final question.
Okay.
When you're no longer on this planet, how would you like to be remembered?
Oh. That I did my best, and that I was kind to everyone, no matter what their background, where they come from, and that they felt that when they interacted with me, that they were appreciated.
Beautiful. It's been so lovely talking to you, Kathryne Carter.
Yes,
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.